I will start the series with the trading books from Jack Schwager. That is Market Wizards, the new Market Wizards, unknown Market Wizards, and interviews with top traders. Market Wizards. They are well-known books from the writer Jack Schwager. Most likely, they are the first books that are known to the large public. And I was very curious to read them as well, so I could have an opinion on these books. I have read them throughout this year, and it was to my surprise that it was extremely good structure on all of them. And one thing that has struck me for for these books is that uh, it was very interesting to see that a lot of the interviewed traders had very different view on the market, right? And this is kind of normal because, as you know, there could be a lot of views on the market, right? This is one of the reasons that I think that trading can't necessarily be taught in a certain way, and that everybody has to find his own ways. This is something that I stand by, and this is something that I really think that is true, where everybody can be profitable in his own way, right? Out of all these interviews and all these traders, I kind of wanted to have just a few of them discussed because obviously there were a lot of traders interviewed in these books, and there was a lot of information to be handled and to be kind of assimilated by me. Um, but I chose four of the traders that I found that had they had a bigger impact on me. So starting with Richard Dennis, he was well known for the idea that he thought that everybody can be taught trading, right? He thought that everybody can learn it from scratch, and that everybody can become profitable. And his his system was trying to teach a bunch of people the same exact way that he's trading. This was classified as the turtle experiment, right? Where what it basically meant is that a bunch of people were just taught over the course of a few weeks on how to trade based on Richard Dennis' idea and strategy. And what is really important to note is that the people that actually tried to get into this experiment were from all classes of society, and that there was a big discrepancy between them, right? What Richard Dennis has noticed is that the best way to have somebody be taught trading is that he should be rather new, because then he would have preconceived ideas of trading. That is something that actually makes sense, right? Because whenever you already have a theory behind, it is harder for you to kind of leave it behind and learn something new. That is one thing. And the other thing is that it wasn't necessarily important for the trader to be extremely intelligent, right? So it wasn't a necessity for him to be extraordinarily intelligent, but obviously they had to be at least proper level of intelligence, and but not something out of the ordinary. That's one thing. And what they have noticed is that Richard Dennis and his friend William Eckhart, right, that was the mathematician behind the bet against him, that he thought that traders couldn't just be taught over the course of a few weeks to become profitable. So the other side of the bet from Richard Dennis, they thought that it is more important to have critical intelligence, right, and emotional intelligence, rather than just pure intelligence and IQ. Something that really struck me was the fact that Jack Schwager tried to interview some of the turtle traders, right, and most of them didn't want to take part to this interview, and one of the few that did, actually, this turtle student was saying that the way that Richard Dennis trades is extremely hard to replicate, but not because of the pompous or the hard way of trading that he represents, but most likely just because the way that Richard Dennis trades just impacts you psychologically so hard that it's really hard to put it into words. For example, um, they were trading such that most of their trades were just break even or losses, but 3 to 5% of their trades were big winners. So basically what they were doing is that they were leaving the extremely big trades on the table without taking profits at all. So they could experience a lot of trades where they had a lot of money on the table in not realized, unrealized profit, but they wouldn't take any profit. So that was extremely hard to take on psychologically, right, for a lot of the turtle traders. That's one thing that I remember this interview from, and it was also the fact that 3% winning trades and being extremely profitable is something really rare to hear about, but it is indeed just another way of saying that there are extremely um, various ways of trading and still being profitable, right? Another trader that to me, he is kind of the most important trader that Jack interviewed, which is Ed Saikota. And I remember vividly that when he interviewed him, he was in a really big rush, and that he went to his house actually, right? So Jack went to his house, and they had very small walk or a walk around his house and around the shore. And one thing that I remember is that Ed was literally saying that the most important thing to do in trading is just to cut your losses, right? This is the most important thing that will create consistency, right? Just cutting losses. And something that stood with me even until now and is probably the sole most important let's say phrase in trading for me is that everybody gets what they want out of trading, right? And that some people just like losing and they win by losing. So that is something that makes you think more about what you actually do while trading, what you actually want from your trading. And yeah, it's something to just think about all the time. It's something that will never kind of leave your brain whenever you are trading or whenever you are remembering yourself of these words. One more thing about Ed Sakota was that he was obviously a trend follower and he was trading based on a system that he created. And when he wanted to give it out, right? And when he wanted to sell it, what happened is that the people that he wanted to use his system weren't exactly following his system. And one of the things that he said was that the human being tries to do more than the system actually is designed to do. So for example, his idea was that if somebody would 100% follow his system, they would be profitable. But just human beings can't simply follow a system, right? They just have to have their own ideas. They have to have their own print on something. And that is something that he said that unless you are extremely, you have extreme prowess on something, you just cannot make something better than it already is. And that the most important thing to do is follow your rules, but one of the rule would be just ignore or your rules or try to overrule them in case you know something that has a better win percentage or is a better idea compared to your rules. But that should be way more rare of a case than just not following your system to the T. Another trader and his interview that I kind of remember about in a more serious matter is Stanley Druckenmiller, that was the trader of George Soros, right? And what I remember about this is that it was very kind of eye-opening to me that they just had this idea of compounding your positions, right? And if you are sure on an idea, you should go big on an idea. This is something that really is not as easy to do being a trader, because it also means bigger risk, obviously, unless you are really good at risk mitigation. But when you have a good idea, when you have something that you really stand by, you should actually just put your money on the table, right? Put your money where your mouth is and just compound your position. Be sure about your plan and make sure that you are acting in congruence with with your idea and with yourself. This is something that stood with me from the Stanley Druckenmiller interview, and obviously everybody knows about the pound trade that backed George Soros fund about 1 billion in the 90s, which was obviously an extreme success. And remembering that and reading this interview actually made sense, right? He just compounded his position and uh, just um, basically really trusted in his trade and in his gut and in his plan. The last interview that I want to talk about is the interview with Marty Schwartz, and this is really important because it actually emphasizes a lot of resilience. Marty Schwartz is a trader that did not become profitable or consistently profitable until I think 7 or 8 years after he started trading. So everybody probably has this, where there are a lot of up and downs, there are a lot of highly inconsistent periods of trading in your career, or let's say in your journey. And this is something really to think about, where if this sole user, sole trader, that he had extreme success, right? He was basically one of the interview traders by Jack Schwager, and he only had in the first books he only had big winners and anomalies in his books. um, it is really interesting to see that, and it's really nice to see. It's really um, heartwarming to see that a trader that did not succeed for a lot of time, for 7 or 8 years, had this kind of success. So it's really emphasizing the importance of being a resilient human being and just keep going, keep doing the best that you can, keep upgrading your process, keep upgrading your mindset about trading and about life itself, and in the end everything should be looking well.